can't wait to get home from school so I can get online and talk with my boyfriend.
The video that was just shown on screen was an animation by the 23-year-old animator GovKDF. They overlaid screenshots were all real messages sent by Gov, most of which being aimed at his underage audience. More context will be provided to every screenshot throughout this video. I am not a commentary YouTuber, I am an animator. And due to my inexperience, the structure of this video may be hard to follow and my microphone isn't exactly the best quality, so I'm genuinely sorry about that. I hope the captions help. This video will be going over the controversial and dangerous actions of the animator GovKDF and aims to spread awareness about his inappropriate and immature behavior towards his underage audience. Before anyone gets confused, because I know they will, I want to clarify that me and GovKDF are not the same person. We may have similar animation styles, but GovKDF and me, Ducky Duck Truck, are different people. Gov was 22 to 23 throughout the situation, and I was 16 to 17 years old. If you happen to know who I am outside of this video, then you'll know I was supposed to be on a very long hiatus/break. The only reason I'm even making this video in the first place is because direct victims of the animated GovKDF have come forward to tell me about their experiences with GovKDF and his uncomfortable actions, which includes, but is not limited to, faking a coma, faking his identity during said coma, making a joke towards minors in a private group chat whilst under that fake identity, asking to more for a 13-year-old girl, asking a minor for the rest, multiple in fact, pressuring a minor for a photo of themselves, stalking / obsessing over a minor, asking a minor for the IMEI number, which would allow him to access their location and details, homophobia, and grooming. I want to clarify that it's not grooming, it's emotional grooming, which could become left unchecked. Nobody knows if Gov is intentionally doing this or not, only Gov does. Either way, it's an abusive dynamic which endangers and causes psychological damage to these children. It's even caused physical damage, as some of them have harmed. There were also a variety of actions which I came across in his old Discord server, a Discord server which is now inaccessible. I have luckily saved screenshots of his concerning actions, and I will be going over these later. These screenshots include him guilt-tripping minors, threatening to children as a response to events or misbehavior, inappropriate reactions to serious topics such as inappropriate boundaries of minors, as well as other things. Keep it in mind that Gov was 22 to 23 years old in all of these screenshots. Some of his fans in his Discord server were as young as 10 years old. A 10-year-old, to put it in perspective, is born in 2015 to 2016. I've personally had my suspicions about Gov for as long as summer 2025, which is why I even have these screenshots in the first place. I never ended up speaking up due to the fear of not being taken seriously, as I believed I didn't have enough evidence to prove that he was a genuine danger to his audience. Also, I have a crucial problem with overthinking, which added to that. To add to this even more so, when I confronted Gov, he further gaslit me and guilt-tripped me into not saying anything. And in all honesty, he came across as kind of mentally immature, and I felt bad for him. I mistakenly gave him the benefit of the doubt. Or so, Gov supposedly has a heart condition where if he receives enough stress, he can die on the spot. Obviously, I didn't want to kill him by accident, especially over something which I believed wasn't that big of a deal. But now, I have high suspicions that his heart condition isn't true, given his dodgy medical history and compulsive lying about things such as his coma. I want to add that I'm not doing this for any monetary gain or attention. I mean, for starters, I'm not even monetized, and second of all, I don't care about getting attention on the internet anymore. I've been in a hiatus for the past 2 months, and I was supposed to continue it for years, which I'm probably going to do after this video is dropped. I have no intention to gain any money from this. I do not care about the money, and I never have. I have no intention to ruin Gov's life. This is merely an informative video, which I feel obligated to make. Gov has changed some of his actions, but some of his actions just need to be talked about. I don't want to sweep this under the rug and let him get away and possibly do this to more children. I probably would have left this situation alone entirely if I wasn't reached out to personally by some of his fans. Some of his friends. GovKDF, also known as Governor Boss-the-Man or GKDF Gang on YouTube, is a 23-year-old animator born on the 7th of December 2002. You may know who he is from his animation memes and Roblox videos. I personally found out about him from comments saying that mine and his animation styles are similar as they both use all light motion shapes. Gov's character is a red and black blocky figure that he chooses to represent himself as. It's important to note that Gov claims that his character's lore is reflective of his real-life experiences and that some of the characters in his videos are supposedly based on real living people. These real-life people include Nox, his supposedly real abusive brother, which for whatever reason he makes first traps of, Dude, Gov's IRL friend, who during Gov's supposed coma took his phone and managed it for him, as well as for some reason, making artwork in a very similar art style on Gov's phone, as well as having an incredibly similar typing style. There is also Dude's girlfriend, but she isn't as important to this video. From his old YouTube bio, he claims that he is characteristically kind, easy to use, weak, and a crybaby and cringe. He uses these attributes to garner sympathy and attention from his audience, which is what a third of his content revolves around. I don't want to waste the first half of this video talking about less important subjects, such as Gov's supposed water allergy. For context, Gov claims that he's one of 100 people in the history of medicine to ever have aquagenic urticaria, which is the fancy way of saying water allergy. His water allergy specifically is so severe that he can't even drink water, which is not how aquagenic urticaria works in most cases. In most cases of aquagenic urticaria, most people affected are just sensitive to water on their skin. They can drink it just fine, they just can't get on their skin, except for a handful of extremely rare cases. This shows that Gov is either exaggerating his illness for the sake of sympathy, or he is one of the rarest people in all of planet Earth. I mean, as you can see here, he says that he doesn't drink water, he drinks milk, which is... That just says everything, doesn't it? Anyways, I'm going to be getting on to the actual important bits of the video, because this is fairly lighthearted compared to some of the more horrible stuff that Gov has done. This next section will be going over my conversation with the victims.
Everything in a suit.
This next section will be going over my conversation with the victims. January 19th of this year was when I received these messages from a girl which I'll be referring to as Purple. Purple asked to discuss something with me, something involving Gov. I had a feeling of what it was going to be and my heart sank. I accepted the invite and was invited to a group chat containing 3 minors which I'll be color coding as I want to conceal their real identity. Purple is 13, Blue is also 13, and Yellow is 14. They came to me to discuss what had happened between them and Gov during their friendship, which has lasted more than a year now. They also wanted to discuss Gov's coma as they believed that he was faking it. I think the reason why they chose to reach out to me, even though I'm not a commentary YouTuber, is because I have vocalized concerns about Gov in the past already. This was done for a community post where I reflected on my past mistakes of venting too publicly from the ages of 15 to 16 years old. I remember seeing Gov's weird, guilt-trippy behavior, and I was really worried at the time that I may be doing something similar, as I used to beat myself up for not reaching deadlines. A few hours after I posted this community post, it ended up being posted in Gov's server by a 17, now 18-year-old Russian after Gov announced to be taking a break so suddenly after I joined the server. I've come to realize that the community post probably wasn't the most mature way of going about the situation, and I'm genuinely sorry about that. Of course, the community post wasn't the reason why Gov went on a break. Maybe it was part of the reason, but the main reason why he went on a break was because I confronted him and I told him about his bad actions and I told him to see a psychologist. I think another reason why these victims chose to reach out to me was because in the past, Purple had to comfort Gov after he vented about me confronting him, as that was really traumatic for the 24-year-old man. The conversation about Gov started off with Purple adding me to a group chat, stating that they needed to explain the situation and that they didn't know where to start. Their friend Yellow went to go gather some screenshots while Purple explained the situation. Purple explains that her, Blue, Yellow, and Gov had all been friends for more than a year. To clarify again, both Purple and Blue are 13, whilst Yellow is 14 and Gov is 23, something which Gov knows and addresses at multiple points. At the time of these messages, Gov was supposedly in a coma, something which the group and myself have been suspicious of for quite a while. Another thing to add is that at the time of these messages, Gov's friend Dude was supposedly running his account. Purple explained how Gov and Dude have incredibly similar art styles, typos, ways of writing, etc. This is why she and the others believe that Gov had been faking his coma and that Dude isn't a real person. Here are some examples: the yellow son of Dude's art. And here are some examples of Gov's art. All look similar, don't they? Only difference is the rendering and mild art style changes. Personally had this suspicion for a while. A week or two before this happened, I was in contact with Dude on Gov's account, and I noticed a similar typing style. Actually, here's a comparison between Gov and Dude's messages. It's impossible to tell that these were sent by different people. Surely if someone was managing their friend's account, A, they would have different typing styles, and B, they wouldn't be starting drama with me in Gov's DMs. Yellow also sent screenshots of these three confronting Dude in a private group chat about this all. They all sent their messages before adding him to the group chat. Purple opens up the group chat by explaining to Dude that the Free needs to talk to him about something. She informs him that it's pretty serious and that she would really like him to be completely honest in his answers. She then goes on to the main point, which is that the group believes that Gov and Dude are the same person and have actually been lying to them the whole time. The Free then proceed to list off their reasoning. For example, Yellow mentions how the art style is literally the same, except the rendering. Blue then proceeds to make an excellent point, which I'll read out.
People don't just suddenly adopt someone else's exact style, mistakes, art style, watermarking, typos, phrasing, etc. Those are highly personal. If a real friend were taking over, they'd usually communicate in their own way, or at minimum, they wouldn't keep the watermark unless they were explicitly asked to credit the original artist.
I assume the last part of that statement is referring to how, despite being in a coma, Gov still managed to post videos. Dude claimed that these were old Gov videos that he was posting for him while he was in a coma. Very likely and believable. Purple uses an example, which is when Dude told his girlfriend to draw something, and it was exactly the same art style except with different pens, tools, and slightly different methods. Here's the art that Purple was referring to. Yellow adds that the character models used in Gov's new videos were made 1 to 2 days before Gov fell in a coma. It'd be unlikely that he would be able to make 2 whole videos in that time frame and then have Dude post them while he was in a coma. Blue then adds their previous point.
A coma is a serious scenario, and serious scenarios usually come with serious behavior. If someone was actually dealing with a friend in a coma, they won't just hop online in the same tone, same mannerisms, and continue producing art in an identical way. They tend to be withdrawn, worried, or at least acting different. The inconsistency here points towards a story, not a crisis.
Purple adds onto Yellow's previous point about the character models that were fresh made,
Gov only recently started making 3D looking models for Oz.
which is this thing here.
He showed us that a few days ago before he got in a coma. How could he have made more when he didn't even show us? Gov would have showed us this as he is really proud of the things that he makes.
In case you didn't quite understand that, basically Purple is saying that if Gov was to have made this 3D model outside of the coma, he would have showed this entire group already, because as soon as he makes something, it's posted in his Discord or it's posted in his friend group. This is a thing that he does a lot. They send the video as an example, and they go on about how the audio used in the video is relatively new or trendy. If you make YouTube shorts or animation memes, there will always be like trending audios that you follow in order to get likes and views. And this is a trend that came out after Gov was in a coma. So how did he know? Did he predict this? Is he the starter of this trend? No, he's a liar. That's one. Here's the video.
炭治郎义勇，你俩在哪儿学的这些？当我在 Link Start 和鬼灭众人玩猜词，题目冷脸萌，义勇身上的一种属性。这个题。
The trend that came out after Gov was in a coma. So how did he know? Did he predict this? Is he the starter of this trend? No, he's a liar. That's one. Here's the video. As you can see, nothing can stop Gov from grinding for those 200 likes, not even a coma. An interesting thing that Purple says is that
Gov can never know about the trend unless Oz told him.
they then bring up Oz as their next point. I was curious to what this Oz thing was, so I asked Purple to give me an explanation and a rundown, which they did. Let me read it out.
Gov told us some time ago that this thing Oz talked to him in his head, and he said that at first he thought he was God, but Oz didn't like that. He said Oz gave him bad and he did things that aren't right and stuff. It got worse and worse as he started saying that Oz could manipulate atoms and physically change him, etc. He said that Oz sometimes prevented him from fainting. He tried consulting a doctor, his words, I don't know if it's true. Left with no update on the situation whatsoever. It really messed up with my, Yellow, and Blue's mental health, as we would always worry about him because we believed that. One time Gov was really panicked because of a situation, saying that he knew this would be his final fate and that he wouldn't wake up, that he was glad he got to know me. This seriously messed with me. I had to pretend in front of Yellow and Blue that he was just sleeping early because I didn't know what to say. I'm telling you all this because I'm seriously done with his lies. He keeps insisting that it's true, but I'm not believing this anymore, and I feel insanely stupid and dumb for ever believing that. I started to feel bad for wanting him exposed yesterday, but after talking with him, I'm seriously done now. I'm not falling for the guilt tripping anymore. I'm honestly scared, and I wouldn't be surprised if his leaves scars on my ability to trust people in general.